Now, let's get the business news. Simon Jack is here. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, I brought Henry Pryor with me, who's our housing expert this morning. Lots of stuff coming out from the housing market this morning. Going to start with...
You like to hang around your house or something?
Sorry. We're going to start with some mixed messages from the housing market. Now, first of all, Rightmove, their housing website, suggests that prices are going up again for the 6-month row. These are just asking prices. And we've had data recently saying that there's continued falls in actual sale prices and flat numbers, the number of houses on the market and transactions being done. We've also, I understand, Henry, just had a tweet from Grant Shapps, housing minister, about his efforts to get the first-time buyer market going. What is he proposing?
This is his scheme, Simon, called FirstBuy, which is going to provide equity finance for first-time buyers. Obviously, the hardest pressed of all buyers, right at the foot of the housing ladder on which the housing market is predicated. So very, very important. The government's going to provide up to 20% of the equity required. Lenders then 75% of the balance, and the purchasers themselves will have to scrape together 5% of the value of the home. It's going to be capped, we think, at about £260,000, although in exceptional circumstances they may push it up to £300,000. It's going to be very interesting to see just how many people will qualify. At the moment, just about 12,000 people have already expressed an interest. So it's now down to the developers to see who's going to take advantage of this. OK,
and we'll get more details on that from him later. And it is something that needs addressing, because we've just had some numbers from the Council of Mortgage Lenders saying that gross mortgage lending is only 1% higher than it was this time last year. A little bit up from April, 12% up from April, but only 1% year on year. So that is not budging at the moment.
It's not great news, and we've seen this blizzard of surveys out this morning. We've got obviously the Rightmove index, the optimism index, if you will, that's explaining that people are still looking for record amounts in terms of asking prices for people. What the CML, the Council of Mortgage Lenders, is telling us is actually, as we see from the Land Registry and from the likes of the Halifax and the Nationwide, that people, when they come to sell, are taking considerably less on average than they are in terms of what they're asking.
Are we in the middle of a housing recession at the moment? Have we had a double dip in terms of the housing market?
I think the housing market is inevitably incredibly complicated. It's very different from region to region, from town to town, from parish to parish almost. In London, in central London, the market is still bubbling away furiously. In other parts of the country, the housing market is absolutely on the rack, and as a result, it's very difficult both for buyers and sellers to understand exactly what's happening. What will be interesting to see is that historically, asking prices always trend a little bit higher than sale prices. Back in 2003, the gap was about £38,000. Today, it's a whopping £75,000, that gap between what people aspire to and what they're actually taking when they do sell.
And presumably, the difference between asking prices and selling prices mean that houses are spending longer on the market because people aren't yet, at least, being into a forced sale position.
Everybody's still trying to work out where the floor in prices is, and as you rightly say, people are trying to work out exactly what they can sell their house for, and buyers are trying to work out what they can pay for. We're seeing a bounce, therefore, in the rental sector, with people coming in wanting to rent houses rather than buy. Because transactions are so low at the moment, we're seeing so few transactions, relatively speaking, roughly half we saw at the peak of the market in 2008. It's making it incredibly difficult for anyone to understand exactly what's going on, but the chances are that if you want to buy a house today, it's a good time to look at getting in there, because some people have to sell, and those are the people that you can take advantage of if you're looking to buy. Perhaps lay down the foundations for your property fortune going forward.
All right, property fortune going forward. Back to the good old days, no, or bad old days, depending on which way you're looking at. Henry, thank you very much. As I say, very much some mixed messages there, but a moribund property market, if not one in recession. Let's have a quick